Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. And today I want to talk to you about Handel's Concerti Grossi Opus 6. 12 Concerti Grossi Opus 6. This is Handel. That means there's a lot of music, a lot of notes. These 12 Concerti usually occupy 3 full compact discs. That's a lot of music. How long do they take? It's what I've got here. This is my favorite performance. I'll just tell you which one it is. It's Musici di Montréal on Chandos. Boy, is this hot. Oh, this is so great. But this is, let's see, what is it? 47 minutes, 59 minutes, 56 minutes. So figure about 2 hours and 45 minutes of music. That's really something. That's a big pile. Handel wrote these concertos to be played originally as interlude music in performances of his operas. And when you consider that his operas are usually like 3 hours long as well, I mean, these were long events. You spent a lot of time when you went to the opera those days. You got your money's worth. And you not only got these things, the opera, but you got a concerto, just in case you were, looking for something else to enhance the experience. And they are melodically often related to some of the tunes in his operas. For example, the Adagio of the 8th Concerto uses the amazing Piangero la sorta mia from Giulio Cesare. I mean, that's the most beautiful aria. I will weep because of my fate. Piangero, piangero, la sorta mia, si crudel. Oh, it's just gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And it's just as beautiful when you hear it played on the strings in the 8th Concerto Grosso. Handel was never one to waste a good tune. But I love these pieces. I really do. And I have to say, in all honesty, loving them has been a long time in coming. First of all, like so many people, I think, my experience of classical music was not as a musician. It was as a listener, and I liked romantic music. I liked big romantic symphonies, like the New World Symphony and Mahler symphonies and, Dvorak symphonies and Brahms symphonies. I mean, these were the things, and of course Beethoven. These were the things that got me into classical music. So to go back and listen to these Baroque things, where the music all seemed very kind of patterned, shall we say, and somewhat uninteresting rhythmically, and you have the harpsichord clanging along in the background. And, it took a lot of getting used to for me to enjoy it. And of course, I'm a percussionist. I like brass. I like woodwinds. I like triangles and gongs and cymbals. And this is just strings and continuo. Although Handel did add some oboe parts later on if you want to use them, but they're totally unnecessary. It's not the kind of music that appealed to me initially. But as I became more, I would like to think musically aware and, opened up my mind a little bit more, you begin to realize just how rich these things are. They're not anything like Bach's concertos, the Brandenburg concertos, or anything which are very formally well organized. Handel is a free spirit. And these were Concerti Grossi in the style of Corelli, the Italian composer who sort of invented the Concerto Grosso. You have a big string section, and then you have a few soloists in a smaller string section. And they would do solos. And those solos aren't it's not like you have a theme and then the solo comes in, and then you have a theme and then the solo comes in. It's nothing like that. They just pop up wherever it sounds nice for them to pop up. Maybe there's an introductory tune and then there's some solo stuff, but the number of movements and how the solos are used and how many there are, and it varies constantly from work to work to work. And one of the things that I really began to enjoy in listening to these pieces was their kaleidoscopic variety. Handel is just the king of variety in music. He really is. It's just amazing. And he was a master at writing for strings. He had such a feeling for sensual string textures, the sensuality of which is usually stripped out in period instrument performances, but it's there. This is sexy, sexy music. And it has to sound that way. That's why I love these performances. First of all, I really enjoy performances that are not on period instruments. I mean, I want them to be stylish. I want them to be idiomatic. I want vibrato to be minimal. It shouldn't be played like Wagner. No, not at all. It has to be tasteful and it has to be appropriate to the style of the music in a way that makes the music sound best. But at the same time, this is vocal music, like everything Handel wrote. It has to sing. There has to be warmth. There has to be passion. It has to be expressive. There has to be a variety of expression. It can't just be the same cold, frigid, frosty, steely tone for the entire piece. I mean, these are incredibly varied pieces with multiple movements. I mean, how many do they have here? 5, 6, 7 movements in a concerto. Some much longer, some much shorter, slow, fast, everything in between. There's so much variety, which means so much opportunity to be expressive. And I think that this box does it fabulously. Musici di Montréal is a great group. They're under the leadership of Yuli Turovsky. They have a certain Russian spontaneity and passion to their playing, which works very, very well. And they're as stylish as anybody out there. They really are. They have the Baroque idiom down to a T. I mean, who are anybody to say that their way is the right way and this is wrong? It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But I think these performances are glorious. There are so many fine versions now of these pieces, both on period instruments and on regular instruments. And there are very good ones on period instruments too. Make no mistake. So I'm not trying to dog those either. It really depends on how you feel about it. But I really do think that this music blossoms when you play it on modern instruments because of the extra variety of tone color that you can achieve. Which is just the opposite, of course, of what the period instrument people say. What they say is that, well, you use vibrato all the time. It's always the same. It's always thick and muddy and monochrome. Bullshit. That's so not true. What you get when you use modern instruments is greater dynamic range, greater range of tone color and timbre, greater opportunity for varied articulation. All of those things are possible. It all depends on the performance and whether the players do it. And here they do. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.